Do you know what happens if you don't update your estate plan? Hi, it's Nancy Beauvair here with Agape and NEXsteps. I wanted to talk this week about updating your estate plan and why that is so crucial. I did speak recently about the estate planning gap, and we have found that in Canada, 85% of people don't actually even have an estate plan. That aside, let's just talk about a will. About 50% of Canadians haven't even created a will. Forget about an estate plan. They don't even have a basic will to protect their loved ones in the event of their passing. The difference between just a will and an estate plan, of course, is that an estate plan covers off your power of attorney as well to make sure that if you become incapacitated or whenever you cannot speak for yourself, that your attorney who has been named in that document is able to take care of business as is required when you can't handle those things. It also includes things like a medical directive so that your medical wishes are taken care of. It will include what you wish for funeral arrangements. And even beyond that, it gets into things like tax efficiency, tax planning, making sure that your finances are in order, and that you've named beneficiaries appropriately on those financial instruments that you have, such as life insurance, bank accounts, real property, anything that has a monetary value should have a beneficiary attached to it in order to avoid tax implications. Now let's get back to the issue at hand. What happens if you don't update your estate plan? Let's just assume that you do have one. Well, things change. Life changes. Life happens. We all know that an estate plan truly is just a snapshot in time. It takes into consideration what your life circumstances are, whether you're married, whether you're single, how many children you have, takes into consideration your age, your assets, all of those things. Those things change. People get married, people get divorced, people get remarried, and there's stepchildren that come into the mix, and there are grandchildren that are born that you want to include into your estate plan. But beyond that, there's also things like tax laws change. And if you haven't updated your estate plan, you could be leaving tax dollars that you could be preserving for your beneficiaries and your heirs that are instead going to the government. There's also legislative changes that happen. Jurisdictions will change what the rules of engagement are on different things that can be managed. I also recently did a video, an article that had to do with how Alberta has changed the application for probate and does in many instances now allow for online application for grants of probate. Big time savers. In an upcoming video and article, I'm going to be addressing the recent changes to Ontario's probate laws. And those, of course, affect people living in Ontario, but beyond that, it has broader implications in that it may influence legislative changes in other jurisdictions across the country. So let's get back to you. You've created your estate plan. You have everything in place, but then something changes. Maybe you get divorced. Maybe your spouse passes away and you don't remarry. How does that impact your estate plan? You really should be reviewing your estate plan every 3 to 5 years, even if nothing has changed. Because as I mentioned, there's always the chance that tax reform has happened, that legislative changes have happened, and those can impact your estate plan. On my article this week that's on the website, you will read about a real-life example about a business owner in Saskatchewan who was unaware of some changes, and although his estate did pass on to his children, it ended up costing much more in tax than it needed to, simply because the estate plan hadn't been updated. So I want to appeal to those of you who are out there who have not yet even created your will. That is the cornerstone. That is the bare minimum that you should be doing to be providing some peace of mind for your family. You don't want to be dying intestate. You don't want to be leaving your family, who are already grieving, having to pay money to petition the courts to have the right to administer your estate. You also want to have that enduring power of attorney in place so that if you do become incapacitated, that someone can speak, someone can stand in your shoes and act as you would have, ensuring that all of your financial matters and legal matters are taken care of. And to make sure that you have discussed your medical wishes with your family, but beyond that, make sure that they're written down in a legal document so that they're binding. And if something happens to you, your wishes will be followed. Those of you who do have an estate plan, first of all, I applaud you. You're one of the celebrated 15% that actually have created that estate plan. But when was the last time that you checked it? When was the last time you revisited that estate plan and made sure that it was current? Made sure that it is still allowing for what your wishes are? Have your wishes changed? What has happened in your life? If you'd like a little bit of assistance with that, I'm a certified executor advisor. I'm happy to have a consultation with you. I can review your documents with you and point out some of the nuances, some of the changes that may have happened, and where maybe you do need to update these documents. I work with a team. I'm not a legal professional. I'm not a financial professional, but I work with a team of people, or I'll work with your team to make sure that you have a cohesive, well-rounded plan that will take care of those that you love when your time has come and you have passed away. You know, a colleague of mine once said, your estate plan is a love letter for those you leave behind. I'm going to leave that with you for today. Thanks very much for joining. I look forward to sharing more with you next week. Bye for now.